some final thoughts on throwing. We've been able to break the throwing action down into a bunch of smaller parts, forearms, shoulders, hips, and I hope these drills allow you to improve the throwing action one piece at a time. Too often quarterbacks throwing is looked upon as a natural gift. Either you have it or you don't, and we don't really try to do too much to improve it. I hope these drills help in that regard. Often you'll hear me say you're either improving or you're getting worse. If you're not working on things to improve your throwing action, then generally mistakes, errors start to creep in, what we call hitches in your throwing action. So all these drills to me are a part of a bigger picture, a process in getting better all the time. Now, another area that this is important is that it's hard to sometimes find the time to just work on your throwing action. So again, look at this as a process. Maybe you only get a chance to work on it half an hour a week. Maybe you get it maybe a couple of times per week. But if you can become familiar with these drills, find whatever opportunities you can. I feel they'll pay off. The other aspect there is I feel there's a lot of opportunities within just throwing the ball around in practices where a keen quarterback will find opportunities to work on improving the throwing action by trying some of those drills. The final thought I'd like to mention is I like to think that we've taught you a very full, what I call a big throwing action using big body parts. Sometimes quarterbacks, in an effort to be accurate and make it through the game, start to throw with a shorter action, a smaller action, and there's a good reason why you might do this, in that you might become more accurate and more consistent. I think it's important to keep working on what I would call this big throwing action, because I always feel that it is easy to work on the big and cycle it down to a smaller action. In other words, there's positive influences by working on the big. It will positively influence your smaller throwing action. If you work too much on the smaller action, though, I find it very hard to move to a big throwing action. So you're great at throwing the 15 to 20 yard throw, but now in a game the 40 yard throw is demanded, then that's very hard to scale up. But if you've been working on that 30 or that longer throw, working on the big throwing action, I find you can scale that down to make the 20-yard throw. So you'll limit yourself if you're only working on these smaller actions. Work on the big actions, and again, you can scale it down to the smaller